Good morning, good morning. Happy Monday. Happy market day. Happy markets go Brrr. All right, so a lot going on today, and let's get right into it. Go to a 5-minute chart here, and let's look at yesterday and today. This is Bitcoin. Okay, so Bitcoin bottomed out. Let me turn my pivots back on. Sorry about that. Hold on a second. There we go. And put that back up there. All right. So Bitcoin bottomed out at 56,817, and that was in the middle of the night. But it got up to 58,240 or 424. So I actually had a nice weekend. When you look at a longer chart, it definitely had some inflows coming in. So good stuff there. Ethereum back above 2,000 now, off of its low. What a run! What a run! Let's go to a 1-hour chart, and just amazing rise in Ethereum. You know, we talked on Friday about the chances of it possibly hitting, you know, 15,000 again, and now we're well established since when we hit it on the first, when we hit it the first time. So pretty good run there. Whoops, let me turn this down here. Okay, there we go. All right, so so Ethereum onto a nice run. Let's take a look at the markets on the right hand side, or on the bottom of your screen, I should say. We have, and it won't hold my brightness setting. I don't know why. It's Monday. Okay, so we've got the S&P 500 E-mini futures on the top, and we've got the NASDAQ 100 E-mini futures on the bottom. So E-mini futures are looking to open up, open up a little bit, and same with the S&P 500 E-mini futures. And so we'll just let those run up here by themselves. And let's take a look at the Dow futures. Are looking for a rise of 239 points. So more record highs coming up today, folks, at least on the open. And so that looks pretty good there. So again, S&P looking to open up as well. NASDAQ composite looking to open up based on a 100 E-mini futures. The dollar is down, but again, we've got confusion in the markets where the 10-year is actually up and the 30-year is up, but the markets are going to go up anyway. The VIX is trading down. It's down to 17.7 right now. And let's look at some movers and see what's going to go on with the open here. All right, so let me go back down to a 5-minute. And make that a little bit bigger here. Slide that back over here. Okay. All right, AMC looking to open up 57 cents. They had a good weekend off of Godzilla versus Kong. And if we look at the weekend, and Kong took in the number one with $23 million gross. So $23 million gross on Kong versus Godzilla. That is a 34% increase over last week as far as the dates go. So really good weekend for Godzilla versus Kong. I read the numbers. I think worldwide something like, I want to say 40 million, but I might be wrong on that. But they had a really good weekend as far as the box office goes, with people returning to theaters and wanting to return to the theaters. So with that in mind, we've got AMC up 6.5% in the pre-market, so it's trading all the way up here. So this is a 5-minute chart here. So that's kind of what we're looking at there for last, compared to last Thursday. So looking pretty good. ARCX looking to open up as well, up another 1.5%. Again, I'm in on ARCX in 3 of my accounts. I've got some on my taxable account. I've got some in my Roth IRA. I've got some in my IRA. I originally bought it and then sold it at a profit, and I actually bought it back at a higher price, but in all 3 accounts. But I forget what my cost basis is. I'll have to look at that here in a little while here. Cinemark also looking to open up higher, 3%, so 6% rise on AMC, about almost 3% on Cinemark. GameStonk looking to open up down $24, down to $166.80. Palantir again $23.78, up 70 cents. Rocket Mortgage up 31 cents in a pre-market, and Tesla looking for a nice bounce here, up almost 7%, up $49 at 7-Eleven. In case you missed it, we talked about it on Thursday. Again, 3-day weekend, so I hope you all had a fantastic weekend as well. We talked about it on Thursday that SN11 rocket go up in Boca Chica down in Texas, and then it came back down, went to do the flip and ignite the engines, and the whole thing blew up before it had a chance to land. And it was in the fog, so you couldn't even see anything on the feed. It showed one engine relighting, and then the feed went blank as the rocket blew into bits. But they've already got serial number 15 that is moving, I believe, from high bay, and they're gonna get that one ready to go. And there's supposed to be a lot of innovation on SN15 compared to the prior one, so we'll see how that works. All right, Apple. Apple looking to open up 28 cents to the positive side. AMD looking to open up $1.13, almost 1.39%. So that's going to carry the semiconductors. They're looking pretty good. Boeing is going to look for a nice up. They had a AD issued by the FAA for something on. I read it yesterday very briefly. One of their fuel things or something like that. Apparently not a super big deal. It isn't going to ground them or anything like that. So Boeing's just going to take that on the chin and go up $3 in pre-market. Caterpillar looking to open up 176. Again, this is one we talked about last week as far as a possible infrastructure play. However, you do need to know that these things are right at its 52-week high, which was hit back here. So you got to be careful with that one. But like everything else, we'll go into what's above and what's below their 200-day moving averages as far as stocks go. All right, in Ford trading up 17 cents, almost 1.4% in the pre-market. Again, these are all pre-market. Market does not open for another 19 minutes. Intel looking to open up 55 cents. Microsoft looking to open up 40 cents. Oops, sorry about that. Intel looking to open up 34 cents, about 0.5%. Microsoft, and again, I'm looking down here. You can also read them up here as well. Those are probably tough to read on the screen, but down here, Microsoft looking to open up 40 cents in the pre-market. And again, these are all live quotes. These are not delayed quotes at all. I pay for the quotes. All right, Nvidia looking to open up $3.93 all the way up to $5.56, and a triple Q looking to open up 2.58. Oil, if you want to look at oil, we've got oil trading down $1.65. The dollar itself is trading down as well. Look at this. Look at this thing get slammed. Let's go to a 1 hour. You won't see this much, but it's been on this decline, which, you know, the government was worried about the strengthening dollar. That's actually not a good thing. So if the dollar goes down, stock market goes up. Dollar goes up, stock market goes down. Well, if you look at where we were back in like November or March of last year, earlier this year, it's been going November, right? Here's January. Since January, it's been on a steady incline. So again, it's something that it's coming down. Logic for that, don't really have a lot right now. Doesn't make sense what it's doing. All right, so again, we have the S&P up 27 points in the pre-market. We have the NASDAQ 100 up 106 points in the pre-market. And again, those are reflected over here. This is the down at the bottom part of the screen. I've got the NASDAQ, or I'm sorry, yeah, the S&P 500 mini futures. Why is that showing up twice down there? Hold on a second. That should be the NASDAQ. There we go. We got the NASDAQ on the bottom and the S&P 500 E-mini futures on the top. The Dow is looking to open up again 239. And, you know, in inverse to that, you should have the 10-year and the 30-year moving down, but they're moving up. U.S. 10-year up 6.4 cents, and the 30-year or U.S. 10-year yield up to 1.736. U.S. 30-year yield up to 2.373. I read some articles earlier this morning before the market, before I got here, and there was an article talking about housing and the fact that housing prices, there was a whole subdivision in Texas that D.R. Horton built, and they built 124 homes. Every one of those homes they rented out. Then they sold the entire subdivision to somebody. They made over 50% more margin versus selling them individually. So again, what they did was they built a subdivision, 124 brand new spanking homes, and let's see if we can find the story here, because I want to say it was outside Austin, which seemed like a 24% increase. So D.R. Horton sells entire subdivision. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. This is it was on Fox Business. Yeah. If you sell a house these days, the buyer might be a pension fund. And let me make this bigger. So again, this is something that, you know, it's saying that my house where I live could go up another, you know, 13% this year. That's not $78,000 if I stay here a little bit longer. Every time I stay here, it's another $7,000 increase in equity per month. There's nothing, literally nothing for sale in the town I live. I'm like a half a block from an elementary school, a block and a half from the high school, and still a decent walk, but about less than a mile for the middle school. And shopping a mile down the street. So access to a freeway basically. So I'm in a really good area, and there's nothing for sale. Houses, haven't seen a for sale sign in months. So bidding war broke out. D.R. Horton, Conroe, Texas. Look at this. D.R. Horton built 124 houses in Conroe, Texas, rented them out, and then put the whole community, Amber Pines at Foster's Ridge, on the block. A who's who of investors and home rental firms flocked to the December sale. The winning $32 million bid came from an online property investing platform called Fundrise LLC, which manages more than $1 billion on behalf of about 150,000 individuals. So the country's most prolific home builder booked roughly twice what it typically makes selling houses to the middle class, an encouraging debut in the business of selling entire neighborhoods to investors. So we certainly wouldn't expect every single family community we sell at a 50% gross margin, the builder's finance chief Bill Wheat said at a recent investor conference. Crazy. You know, here's the largest home builder in the country, and they're saying that it's all about the money because we're going to build all these houses, but we're going to sell them as a block, and we're going to rent them all out. Because of the housing shortage, because of the border issue, you have more people coming in. You have people in China buying houses. You have foreign real estate transaction taxes up in British Columbia, so people are coming down to California, Oregon, Washington to buy houses. Texas, you have a lot of foreigners buying it, and what it's doing is it's locking out the first-time home buyer. And the first-time home buyer, simply in a rising rate environment with lumber prices up over 250%, can't afford a single-family house. And you know, and I'm going to take advantage of it. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to sell my house and to the highest bidder, and I'm getting out of here because I think it could be the high in the market. But I saw some things over the weekend from Meet Kevin and some other websites talking about, you know, if this could continue because of all the forbearance stuff going on and all the options people have. You know, FINRA came out last week and they warned mortgage servicers that they better not jam the people that are in forbearance and give them an opportunity. Now, there's three options. You can, depending on, you know, the options vary a little bit. But basically, if you're in forbearance, if you can afford to make more payments or higher payments, they will judge that, and then you'll be able to simply make up the difference of the mortgage that you haven't paid in the last year or however many months. What most people I think are going to do is they're going to take that money and they're going to put it on the back end of the loan and leave their payments the same. There's even a vehicle that will allow them to adjust their mortgage, have a lower mortgage payment right now, and then put that money on the end of the mortgage as well. And so they're basically just kicking the can down the road. So there's a chance that there may not be as many foreclosures as some people, even like myself, have been talking about the possibility of. And so it's interesting from that standpoint as home prices continue to, everything's just going up and appreciating faster than it should. You know, again, here's a story down here. Pending home sales plunged 10%, inventory at record lows. So, you know, here's another story that's really talking about, well, why are home sales plunging? What do you mean home sales are plunging? This is March 31st. because there's not enough homes for sale, and as a result, pending home sales plunged 10.6% in February. So it's constricting the market even further. And I had read the average house gets offers within a week and sells within 2 weeks. So I know that as soon as I put my for sale sign up, especially in the area I live in, which is hot, super hot right now, I'm going to get offers probably above my ask. So I might put in a ridiculous asking price and see what happens. And if I got to lower it, I lower it. But it's really got me thinking as a square footage, and I'm looking where I'm at. I saw a recent sale less than 2 weeks ago selling at $311 a square foot. And if I did that, that says I should list my house for $727,000. Back in October, I was looking at $540,000. You're telling me it's gone up $100,000 in 6 months? Apparently, yeah. I'm not going to ask for that much, so I haven't come out with a square. I'm going to look at the square footage of recent sales within the last 14 days within a mile of my house for comparables, and then I'm going to take an average of that square footage. I'm going to go a little bit higher than that and see what kind of offers I get based on that. Will I get full ask offers? Will I get ask offers above that? Will I get ask offers below that? We'll see where it goes. But I have a feeling it's going to go pretty quick. I've got a referral for a real estate attorney and a closing company and escrow company and all that stuff. So I'm just about getting the stuff ready to go. So that's interesting there. The fear index. I wanted to show you guys the fear index before we get going here. We're in the greed section again on the fear index according to CNN. A week ago we were at 40. Now we're at 58. And again, is it the stimulus? Is it the infrastructure plan that nobody cares, that we're just going to keep printing money and printing money and printing money? Sorry about that. I didn't know my screen was in part of the screen. But you know, we're definitely in the greed area here. And there you go. So we'll get the S&P 500 again. This will show what's trading 15 minutes after the market opens. Again, we got about 8 minutes to go. It is not earnings season. First high school education today. You got 7 companies tomorrow. You got paychecks, and that's about it as far as importance goes. On Wednesday, Thursday had Apogee. What was one? Is it Wednesday? Yeah, nothing really of any type of interest there. Price Smart. So not a big deal there on earnings as far as stuff that's coming out. So there you go. So fear and greed, economic calendar. We'll get into that a little bit. So this week, a little bit going on, not a whole lot. But you've got the PMI final for March. Median forecast is 60.2. We'll look at that. Factory orders, 0.3% for February. We'll look at those at 7 a.m. here. Those will come out. We have job openings on Tuesday. We have FOMC meeting minutes on Wednesday. So meeting minutes on Wednesday at 2 p.m. And then on Thursday, you have the Fed chairman, Jerome Powell, I believe, is going to be speaking on Thursday. I don't have a time yet. I'll check the FOMC website probably tomorrow or Wednesday, or Wednesday morning by Wednesday, and we can talk about that as far as if they're going to carry his speech and what he's going to say. So we'll look at that. And then on Friday, producer price index and wholesale inventories. All right, let me get my brokerage account open here. And we'll leave this on the S&P 500. That opens. And again, almost spilled my coffee, missed a coaster. S&P is looking to open up 27. NASDAQ looking to open up higher, but this is the 100 E-mini futures that I look at, and the Dow looking to open up 246. Crazy, crazy, crazy. There it is. I hate Windows display features. It never consistently, when you open up new applications, I don't know what screen it's going to go on. And I've gotten my laptop as my primary screen, yet my login showed up on a secondary monitor plugged in off to the left here. Goofy, goofy stuff here. All right, so you got that going on. All right, she's got to go out again, so I will be. I'll be right back. Let me let her up when the market opens. Come on. Outside. All right, she's ready to go. Let's get these ready to go here. We've got about 3 minutes before the market opens. And let's get the top set for the S&P. Let's get the bottom one set for the VIX. Okay, those are ready to go. And we'll match those up here after the open. 30-second and 30-second, okay? And we'll have the NASDAQ over here. And we'll see what that's going to look like. I'll get my trade stuff ready to go here. That's good to go. Showing. Why doesn't it save my settings? Goofy. Okay. All right. Alrighty. All right, so we are ready to rock and roll here. Less than a minute to go to the morning bell, about 30 seconds. And we will see how high off to the races we're going to get. So it could go pretty good here on the open. So look at your volatility, look at what you're looking to trade possibly. Everything's going to be bouncing up here on the open here. And here we go. Okay, so the NASDAQ 100 opens up 232 points, 1.76%. Huge opening for them. We have the S&P 500. Let's go to a 30-second chart on these. Sorry about that. Let me go back. Again, look at this. Look at this opening, guys. Oh, no, correct. 116 points. 116 point on the NASDAQ composite, or I'm sorry, NASDAQ composite is up 113. We have the S&P 500 up 47. And we have the Dow up 17, so up pretty good there. AMC up 57 cents, and it's pulling right back off the open there. ARK is up 32 cents, but pulling back about 16 cents off of what it hit on the open. Cinemark up 52 cents. GameStop actually up $1.63. So they were down. Actually, it hasn't opened yet. So GameStop delayed opening on GameStop. It has not opened yet. Could just be the markets. Don't think there's any news on them. Nope, no news on them. So they just had, it looks like there's a slight delayed opening on GameStop here. Let me see if I can get a quote. Hold on a second. Oh, there we go. Or maybe not. Hold on. What's going on here? $171 is where it's trading at. So TradingView hasn't picked it up. Schwab has. So 171.20 is where it's at. This is weird that it shows up like that. Let me click off and click back on it and see if that fixes it. Nope. That's okay. So the quote is correct if you look on the right hand side of the screen. It is 172. Which is where it's trading at right now. So this is actually accurate. For some reason down here, and it's not showing on the ticker. Could just be because it's Monday morning. A lot of people are trading. All right, Palantir, we were saying it was going to be up 73 cents. It is. It's up 70 cents, so up about 3%. Rocket is up 6 cents. And just delayed on my brokerage platform here, or not my brokerage platform, but TradingView. If you look up here, 7-Eleven, Tesla is up on the open. It's shown on my brokerage lamp. It's actually up to 704. So the red 705, 704. The red ticker is going to be the live ticker if these don't update down here. Don't know why they're doing that. Again, I know I've got to fix this sound, guys. I'm sorry. The stupid white noise crap that they put on there. It's like I pay for this stuff because it's DMCA free, and they're going to put a bunch of white noise songs in the middle of it. Explain that one, Batman. All right, AMD. So this is like goofy. Hold on, let me redo this chart here. Let me reload it, and maybe that'll fix it. This is annoying. So nice up market on the open. Man, laggy. What is going? So something is causing me to probably the ads and stuff. Let's see, GameStop. Let's check that one. There we go. All right. So it seems to be back here. So I'm going to close the earnings one. Nothing. We'll leave that one open. Close the box office one. Close the DR Horton and the real estate one. We'll get the S&P 500 update here in another 10 minutes or so. So GameStop again opening up down 22.62 down to 168.83 right now. Let's hit some other ones here. There's Tesla 700 up $38. So this is accurate now. These I just had to reload the chart apparently. These seem to be working though. So VIX is at 17.8, up off the bottom a little bit. 17.5 it got down to. And then this is Friday. So Friday ending is 17.3. It's 0.5 up from there. Let's go back to 30 seconds. And things are settling in here. The open Apple is up 31 cents. AMD up 18. Boeing up 431. So if you got anything on the pre-market, you're looking pretty good. My ARC, let me take a look at that real quick here. See if I want to add some. Goofy opening here. Really goofy opening. The fact that it shot up and now immediately going into a little mini consolidation phase here is very interesting to me. Look at the dollar. Oil, again, oil is down $1.34 on the light crude. Brent crude is down $1.22. And because of that, US oil is down 72 cents. Roblox up 249 to 69.85. GM up $1.55. And again, the order for the first quarter came out, and they're looking really good on the electric ones. Ford was looking really good as well. Chevron is down. ExxonMobil is down. My due diligence yesterday. Another infrastructure play. U.S. Steel. U.S. Steel is up 70 cents. And again, they're looking at this one. It had a run up with the stimulus a little bit. So looking at March, it finished. You could have bought in over here at 1772. That would have been a nice run. Look at that, 1772 divided into 2574. 31% return since March 2nd on U.S. Steel. That's definitely one looking to add, I think. Let's see here. I should have had them in there as well. When I added Caterpillar, I looked at them and I should have added them too. And I'm going to throw them back up here. There we go. Okay. Gold is down to 1723. Palladium is down a little bit, 2652. That's a number I've said 1,000 times. Platinum holding above 1,200. And silver continuing to go down. And looking at where it peaked back in February, $30. Well, that's on a wick. So more realistically, $28, $29. So $24.80 divided into 29. It's already pulled back about 14.5% since February. So you're talking about these people buying PSLV, which is supposedly holds physical silver, and telling you to go to the mint and buy physical silver, saying, oh, it's going to squeeze, it's going to squeeze, it's going to squeeze. It's up over 100% over the last year. It's not going to squeeze. The squeeze is squoze. Okay? Whatever was going to happen on that damn thing already happened. So good stuff there. All right, let's take, whoops. And, come on. What is bogging me? Something is bogging me down today on this computer. I don't know what it is. Don't know why. That's all right. All right, let's see. Am I up today? Should be in my retirement accounts. Got a mix of stuff, some up, some down. My ARCs is up, my Ford is up, and my US oil is down a little bit. That's all right. We got some cash available to play too. But I want to keep an eye on this stuff. Where is? Let's see here. What we get? Let's see here. Nope, don't like that one. Trying to find. I have to figure out where people are getting the earnings calendar over on Reddit. Earnings this week. Should be a post. There we go. Aha. Well, this is for the month. It's for the month. Posted a monthly one. There it is. All right, that's what I want to do. Okay, found it. What I was looking for. I want to get it off the website, but they post it pretty regularly in Reddit. So let's see, this one's deleted. There it is. And boom, boom. All right, here's your earnings for this week. So again, not much today. You have paychecks before you open. We'll look at them in a second. And pretty much very, very slow week. You have WD-40 and Levi's after the close on Thursday. Apogee, Conagra, Schnitzer. Remember those guys. Paychecks. So we can look at paychecks and see what they did here. I think it's PAYX. And again, we talked about numbers that they released last week a little bit too. Let's see here. So if you want to front run them, tomorrow morning, Paychex opens before you open. Opens before you open. Releases the earnings before you open. But it looks like they've got some baked in already. But like everything else, right, in the market, everything's baked in on the upside. 6:43, we get about 2 minutes before they open the S&P 500. Over here, as far as the heat map goes, because that's a 15-minute delay. If you could build a heat map using live data. The problem with that is, can they post that? And all right, got a puzzle ready, and that will keep her occupied for a little bit. All right, so I want to look at Boeing today. I want to take a look at Boeing. And the reason I want to take a look at Boeing is because are they about to get back to their 300 or so price range? And Delta, we've got the approval from the FAA now. U.S. regulators approved a model that will help increase flight capacity. Again, this is going to, the 737 MAX 200 basically said last week it's going to add, I want to say, 5 seats to Ryanair, and they're buying, I think, 100 of them over the next few years. That's certainly good news. The MAX 200 getting FAA approval is good news. And so with that, Boeing, looking at a daily chart on them, last time I done due diligence on them was, holy cow, back in November. And look at that line I drew at that point, and it came almost right back down to it, 188.50. It dropped in February down to 191.85, and then turned around and bounced off of that. It then made new support at 244.08. It took the resistance level over here and turned that into support the back end of last week here, or the beginning of last week, I should say. You've got some decent support level there. Well, 231, 244, maybe not, but I'm looking at what other good news. It should be nothing but good news coming forward for them, unless something happens that we can't control. And the something happening that we can't control is something happens with the 737 or 777 or 787 or something that we can't control, whether an aircraft goes down or something like that. But you should see more good news of ones returning. The problem I have with this is that if you look at where we were in March or April, you got old support at 302.72, old resistance at 349. So 302, we're at 257 now. 257 divided into 302 minus 1. So you got about another 15% leg up that it could go, that would bring it back to an old support level going all the way back to January, right before the lockdown started. I mean, it started a little bit in January overseas. I know I was following what was going on in China from the videos before they suppressed all that information being released. Then it took till March for the market to go and shoot all the way down, right? So you'd say, okay, if we're getting back to pre-pandemic levels, what's changed on Boeing since then? You've had a lot of things change. You've had them say, hey, we're not making 747s anymore. You've had them turn other jets into freighters. They sold a lot more freighters, and they're going to be selling more freighters as people will continue to work from home and want to buy stuff and get it shipped versus going to the store and picking it up. So there's some stuff going on there. You have the 787 plant. They took a huge cost savings playing with the dog. Huge cost savings by closing their plant up in Everett for 787 production and consolidating it to their South Carolina production facility only. So the 787s are only being built down in South Carolina at their South Carolina plant, which is non-union, by the way. I believe that's correct. Boeing. I believe that plant. Yeah, non-union plant in South Carolina. So, yeah, this is an old story. By the way, if you're looking for paywalls and to get around paywalls, a great way to do it is when you search stuff, search MSN Boeing Snubs Seattle. So, for example, if I type in Boeing Snubs Seattle MSN into my search engine, and here's a story. First one, boom. It gets me around the paywall. This is from Bloomberg. Normally I couldn't get this on Bloomberg. I'd have a paywall possibly blocking me. Let's see if we get the Bloomberg one. Not showing. I would have to probably look at news. But again, this was something that when they announced this last year back in October, The uprooting Liberty. My desk just dropped a little bit. No longer north of Seattle, and they're taking it down to South Carolina. It's already in South Carolina, but it's a non-union plant. So the plant that builds the 787s only, sorry, the 787s in South Carolina is a non-union plant. So they basically did that. Now, will they reopen the Everett one? We'll see. There's certainly cost savings to them by not having a union plant down in South Carolina. So for them to bring that back to Everett again, is they would have to shake up all of those supply lines that they already figured out to get them only to ship to South Carolina, from fuselages, from Spirit systems, or whatever the case is. So this one, I'm looking at possibly, I've got to do a little bit more DD on this, but I think Boeing is poised, since it bounced off this 251, but man, everything bounced from March back up, right? So because of that, its next leg up should take it to 300. And so we're at 258 now, and again, that's about 15%. So, well, I can get 15% on Tesla over a week. Sure, if you're right, and if you're wrong, you could be dropping 30%. So that's what I'm looking at. So speaking of Tesla, they're up $38 to $699. That's pretty good. I don't think we had anything updated here. Yeah, PMI final. I can check. Let me check my news. U.S. Supreme Court. U.S. Supreme Court on Monday sidestepped a chance to further expand religious rights, turning away 2 cases in which employees accused companies of violating federal anti-discrimination law by insufficiently accommodating requests for time off to meet religious obligations. The justices declined to hear appeals by 2 men of different Christian denominations, a Jehovah's Witness from Tennessee and a Seventh-day Adventist from Florida, of lower court rulings that rejected their claims of illegal religious bias. Lower courts found that the accommodations the men sought would have placed too much hardship on the employers. In a dissent, conservative justices Neil Gorsuch and Samuel Alito said the court should have taken up the case from Tennessee. At issue in the case was the allowances companies must make for employees for religious reasons to comply with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which prohibits employment discrimination based on religion as well as race, color, sex, and national origin. So what, I can invent my own religion and say, hey, I'm gonna go work for you, but I'm gonna need Mondays and Fridays off because it's my religion, but you got to pay me full time. Supreme Court said no, not so much. So an interesting story there. Let's see what else we got going on here. Here we go. This is something that if you don't think that the fascists and the communists are in control, of which Janet Yellen is, U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen will call for a global minimum corporate tax rate in a speech on Monday in a bid to sell a key provision in President Biden's tax infrastructure spending plan. The U.S. commitment to a global minimum tax also could help jumpstart negotiations between wealthy countries on taxing international corporations, according to tax experts. So, a global minimum tax, you want to turn control of taxing authority over to a global body. But there's no such thing as the Great Reset. And there's no such thing as globally people at work trying to destroy democracy. Okay. All right. Then why is Janet Yellen calling for a global minimum corporate tax? Believe what you want. All right. Any other top? Oops. That's not what I wanted. What is that one? New Ireland fund to launch tender offer. Okay, who cares? GameStop drops on $1 billion share sale plan. So they're going to issue shares. And that's probably what delayed their opening, right? Again, I don't own GameStop, but now down only 13. So they bounced up a little bit from where they were off the bottom. Here we go. GameStop increased offering price of common shares in connection with companies at the market offering of up to $1 billion. GameStop increased offering price of common shares in connection with companies at the market offering of up to $1 billion. So they're going to offer $1 billion. How many shares is that? Let's see here. 1 billion divided by, what are they at? 176. So that's about 5.6 million shares. So about 5.6 million shares is what GameStop is going to offer, introduced into the market, and that's going to dilute it. That's going to dilute the share price a little bit when that happens. All right, Palantir up $1.13. AMC up 68 cents. Let's see what else here is going on. Dow up, NASDAQ up, S&P up. S&P's up 39. Dow is up 278. And the NASDAQ is up 143. Record highs again. March is likely to show a jump in activity in the services sector, which accounts for more than 2/3 of U.S. economic activity. The data is due at 10 a.m. Eastern, so we should be getting that very, very shortly. Let's see here. If you would have argued and said a year ago that we would be where we are now, no one would have believed you. This new stuff here. Tesla's market value set to gain $50 billion on record EV deliveries. So Tesla had record EV deliveries. Okay, here we go. First quarter production numbers beat prompt Wedbush to lift share price target to 1,000. Tesla's first quarter delivery numbers are a paradigm changer and highlight that the pent-up demand globally for the battery automaker's Model 3 and Y is moving to the next stage of growth as part of a global green tidal wave underway, according to a research note from Wedbush. Here's the interesting thing: as they get their plant really humming over in China, the Teslas that they build over there, China is a huge market. And so even if Tesla picks up competition in the U.S. from, let's say, GM or Volkswagen, get it? Volkswagen, they tried to come out with that meme last week, or Volkswagen, or even Ford's Mach-E Mustang, that they're still going to, there's a boatload of countries that will see Tesla and just want to own the car just for the badge itself. And that's kind of how they market themselves, oh, it's a Tesla. So company produced in the first quarter 180,000 vehicles and delivered 184,800 vehicles, as said in a statement on Friday. That's ahead of the street's 170,000 line in the sand production estimate for the first quarter. You don't have a line in the sand. That's a ridiculous comment. Despite chip shortages and other minor bumps. In that note, in March, the analysts raised the Model 3Y estimate to 160,000 from a prior 132,000 units guidance, as well as their SX outlook to 14,000 units from 12,500 low. People are buying, they're still buying the X and the S, but they're buying the Y and they're buying the 3. predominantly it's going to be the Y. We're moving to a 100% SUV crossover look. I've got one. Everybody's making them. Ford's, all electric is basically a crossover, and they gave it the Mustang moniker. So go figure. Let's see here. Wedbush has upgraded Tesla to outperform and added the company to its best ideas list with a new $1,000 price target versus the prior outlook of $950. The analyst long-term bull case for the stock is $1,300. And again, you had Kathy Wood from ARK Invest saying that she's got a $3,000 price target on Tesla for 2025. I believe, yeah, for 2025. More stuff on the infrastructure plan, spending up to $174 billion in infrastructure to engender a shift in the country toward environment-friendly electric vehicles. Well, you don't need to tilt that. That's already here. Two things people are going to buy them for, but here's the problem. Electric vehicles work great in the summertime. What happens is the majority of this country experiences the winter, and the majority of the population of this country experiences a winter, from the East Coast all the way down. Maybe not the majority. I don't know how the population. That could be an incorrect statement. I'm not sure how the population goes from the country as far as winter and summertime, but in the winter when it's cold, those batteries don't work as well. So when you have a 300, let's say like the Ford Mach-E, you're only looking at 270 miles on their premium all-wheel drive Mustang Mach-E, but in the wintertime, that could be significantly less. And then if you're looking at, he's dragging them all around. Then if you're looking at 225, and somebody says, man, I drive across the state a couple hundred miles, I don't want to stop for a half an hour to get another charge in. Or I don't want to have to stop for 2 hours if it's not a DC supercharger. And so they'll still buy gas stuff. So as we get into the next leg of battery development, and that's the holdup here. It's not that they can put bigger batteries in, but batteries equal weight, which you've got. I'm sure you've got some kind of curve that says as you add weight to the batteries, or as you add more batteries in weight, your gain might only go like this the heavier it gets, where it still goes up, but it's such a slow rate of increase that it's a cost of diminishing returns until they get some battery breakthroughs. Now they've got some battery breakthroughs at Tesla for its next version. They're looking at things, but I haven't read completely up on that. But when you start talking about a range of $400 or $500 or 400 or 500 miles on a range on an electric vehicle, that's when you're going to have mass acceptance. You will have mass acceptance the moment it hits 500. Now, so you're saying, okay, they're going to squeeze another 200 miles out of it. Technology, how are they going to do that with with lithium, right? Because you're limited. And then you got people talking about graphene and stuff like that. It's certainly interesting. Tesla has benefited from market share shifts in China and is now on a path to handily exceed 800,000 units for the full year 2021 in China. So the brokerage Wedbush is modeling fiscal 2021 deliveries at 830,000 units for China, compared with prior guidance of 774,000 units. As a result, they've upped automotive delivery revenue guidance to $42.7 billion from their forecast of $39.7. So Tesla looks to be firing on all cylinders here. Their Y and their 3 are basically hitting it out of the park. They're going to get competition from Ford and GM in the U.S. market and Volkswagen. I'm just going to call them Volkswagen forever. Might as well. Let it stick. Volkswagen's ID4 and Ford Mustang's Mach-E. And, GM has their all-electric Hummer coming out. Some people like the boxy look. I get it. Congratulations, you like the boxy look. That's not going to take a lot of business from Tesla because Tesla's got a significant amount of experience, and they know what they're doing. There was a story a few weeks ago that I read about where, you know, you buy a used Tesla, you could be screwed on the batteries and everything else, and there's a company that refreshes the batteries, and where Tesla is charging people 20, 25 grand, or maybe it was 15 to 20 grand for a battery refresh on a used car. These folks were doing it for like 5 grand or something like that, and they're basically figuring out which of those cells are bad and replacing the cells within the packs, and then putting them all back together again. And I forget the name of the company. They're not publicly traded, I know that, but it's a service that, you know, let's see if we can do a quick search here. Tesla used battery refresh. Repair. Let's see here. My do-it-yourself Omu lithium 12-volt Model S refresh battery install. Some guy did it himself. Battery costs about $200 more than stock Tesla battery. My car has been stuck downloading an update for 3 to 4 weeks now, and Tesla couldn't repair it. My car finally downloaded the full update. Seems like the battery solved the issue. Okay. Oh, it's this guy. This guy right here. I want to see. I want to get to the name of this company though. Without. All right. So let me pull this down here for a second, and I'm gonna pull this up from the video and get the name of the company. And see if I can get a link here. I don't want to get. One of my videos got, when I showed the NFT thing from Saturday Night Live, I got DMCA'd by NBC. Screw you, NBC. All right, so there we go. Gruber Motor Company. Got it. So Gruber Motor Company. And I can close this one so I don't get in trouble there. Here we go. So these folks, Gruber, and I saw this video, and this guy he's very interesting. Oh geez. Services. So this is what they do. So they are a repair company, and we are here to support any Tesla vehicle with repair service, parts, upgrade, and advanced engineering services. So this guy hires the best of the best, and look at free services. Tesla Roadster log file analysis, tire inspection, and air check. Tutorials on servicing your Tesla, charging the all-wheel drive battery, charging the rear-wheel drive battery. Service manuals. So here's, let's see, dark MCU screen fix, door handle fix, window regulator fix. Here, so if you're looking for a Tesla, and you're looking to buy a Tesla, head over to Gruber Motor Company. Again, grubermotors.com, and I'll throw that link in the chat here. Tesla repair company, and the reason this is in here is that if you want to see what problems a Tesla has and what you might be looking going down the road, problems you might have: windshield replacement, 4G LTE upgrade, pre-purchase inspection, transaxle drive train flush, wheel repair and powder coating, paint correction, screen repair, battery repair, battery replacement. So let's click on MS 12-volt battery replacement. And his video says that they do it for like, I want to say like $5,500. 12-volt Model S battery and installation. Not just any 12-volt battery. All right, so that's not the one we want. Go back. Battery, oh, battery repair. Here we go. I clicked on the wrong one. As lithium-ion packs age, they become less resilient and have harder time bouncing back. For battery packs nearing end of life, we recommend limiting high amperage and rapid charging, especially supercharging, if they're nearing the end of life. Although convenient, it takes a toll on the cells and can hasten their demise. So everybody is all about, hey, I want 300 miles to my EV, and I want to be able to quick charge. Well, it appears that every time you quick charge or supercharge, that you are possibly limiting the amount of your stupid white noise crap. I've got to build a playlist. I'm sorry. I know I have to do that. All right. So let's come back to this. All right. So they will do a battery pack pull and enclosure, complete disassembly. They'll isolate the cells. They'll do repairs, module replacement, etc. And they have a nationwide transport service as well. There we go. It's part of Central Dispatch, a service that manages hundreds of automotive transporters all over North America. The members are all licensed, insured, and bonded transporters skilled in auto transport. So again, you can, upon vehicle receipt, we thoroughly clean it before it enters our state-of-the-art service center. So, brilliant model. But they have, they're selling Roadsters for sale. What are these going for? You want a Tesla Roadster? I believe most of them are dead now. But if you want one, look at this. 2010 Tesla Roadster. 26,000 miles, $120,000. Here's one for $135,000. Here's an 08 for $74,900. Bricked Roadsters for sale. Sorry, we couldn't find any. So this section is reserved for bricked Roadsters for sale. If a Roadster is not charged for a couple of months, it can get bricked and no longer take a charge from the Roadster charge port door. We can repair this condition within 6 to 9 months, but anything longer will require a new battery pack. These cars are being sold unrepaired. There's your risk for Tesla. A bricked car. Want to buy my Roadster for parts? And a gallery. It's just a gallery of Roadsters. Serious case of sunburn. Visible carbon fiber hard tops. What is this? If you live in a warm climate, visible carbon fiber hardtops are rare. When we see them on Roadsters, they always make the car pop. This poor Roadster had the worst case of carbon fiber resin decomposition and peeling we have ever seen. Every Roadster gets a bath before we let it enter the service center. During the wash, the clear coat kept coming off in sheets. It had delaminated too badly. We're not sure the resin degradation would allow us to restore the carbon fiber top. We tackled it anyway after cautious sanding. Looks like they were able to fix it. Huh. Look at that. Again, there's companies out there that are doing that. So Gruber Motors, if you need to get a Tesla battery pack repaired or replaced, will do it less expensive than Tesla will. So there you go. All right, AMC still up 82 cents now, up above $10 a share. Currently trading at $10.17 now. And again, that's off the good weekend that they had with Godzilla vs. Kong. Let's check the heat map. It should show predominantly everything except energy and maybe banks. Nope, everything. Energy is the only thing that's down today. So pretty much energy and JP Morgan. Comcast and Netflix down just a little. JP Morgan down 0.5%. ExxonMobil down 1%, Chevron down 0.15%. Oil and gas, all the oil and gas is down about between 1.5% and 3%. They don't show. Okay. Tesla up, Amazon up, Facebook up, Google up, Microsoft up, Apple up, Visa up, MasterCard up. Everything across the board is up. And we are seeing that reflected here into the charts. So we have NASDAQ Composite is now up 153. Dow is up 315 points now. And the S&P is up 45. Crazy run. Why is this acting goofy here, man? It's a huge rise. When you get a big jump like this after a 3-day weekend, the chart just doesn't want to cooperate with you. Let's get a look at what's going on. There's a 30-second chart. All right, let's see here. Hey. Check out my miners. Got another payout over the weekend. That was nice, and a nice run up on Bitcoin and Ethereum this weekend too, especially Ethereum. And there was an article. I don't know if you guys caught this or not, but Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban came out this may paywall me. Maybe not. Mark Cuban on his cryptocurrency portfolio. I own a lot of Ethereum because I think it's the closest to a true currency. So, billionaire investor Mark Cuban is bullish on the future of cryptocurrency and frequently compares blockchain technology to the early days of the internet. That's why over the years, Cuban held on to the few digital coins he bought in the early days. Cuban said on a recent episode of the Delphi podcast, currently his portfolio allocation is broken down as 60% Bitcoin, 30% Ethereum, and 10% the rest. And again, I've got to get into the rest. I got to get into some more DeFi stuff. So he's 60% Bitcoin, 30% Ethereum. Myself, I am right now 89% Ethereum, 10% Bitcoin. So I'm almost 90% Ethereum and 10% Bitcoin. I just think it'll have a bigger run than Bitcoin will as a percentage. You know, for Ethereum to double, Ethereum's got to go from what? Ethereum to double 2086 times 2. It's got to go to 4,000, where Bitcoin it's got to go to 116,000. I just think there's a greater chance, and this is why Ethereum has outperformed Bitcoin over the last year. So over the last 12 months, you've got Bitcoin is up 433%. Okay, 433%. And Ethereum over the last 12 months is up 557. So Ethereum over the last 12 months has outperformed Bitcoin by 124%. Now, a lot of that was in one segment. You can go over to a daily chart and you can say, okay, so much of that, thank you, chart, came from October and last summer, right? You could have got Ethereum at 275 last summer. Heck of a run. And here we are. So it's up. But 2012, people said, this is Mark Cuban now, said Bitcoin is a currency, and I'm like, it's just not going to work. But the entire time I said it was a store of value, where if you can get people to believe that it was a better alternative than gold because of its algorithmic scarcity, price is going to go up, and we're seeing that. According to Cuban, Bitcoin is a better alternative to gold, and it's going to continue. And it's going to continue to be. Stupid. That's why I own Bitcoin and why I never sold it. Cuban is also very interested in Ethereum, the blockchain where Ether, the second largest cryptocurrency below Bitcoin, is built, mainly due to the smart contracts that run on it, like the NFTs. In cryptocurrency, smart contracts are collections of code that carry out a set of instructions and run on a blockchain. What really changed everything was smart contracts. Smart contracts came along, and that created DeFi for decentralized finance and NFTs for non-fungible tokens. And again, most of those are running on the Ethereum blockchain. That's what changed the game. That's what got me excited. That's why it's a lot like the internet. He sees Ethereum as adaptable over time because developers can iterate and improve its capabilities. That is more lifelike, and so I have a lot of Ethereum as well. Again, Bitcoin is 100% completely separated from Ethereum. The chains have nothing to do with each other. You can't mine either with the same machine, so they mine differently. He says he wished he had bought it sooner, but I started buying it 4 years ago simply because I think it's the closest we have to a true currency. So again, he sees Bitcoin as a store of value. He sees Ethereum, as a currency. He hasn't named the rest of the cryptos that he owns that represent the remaining 10%, but there's none that I'm just all in on other than Bitcoin and Ethereum that I look at as being equivalent investment. And again, everybody else is hopping on board. And in January, we said it that 1.3% of the world's population has a cryptocurrency wallet. Okay, 1.3%. Even if you get up to 5%, you're looking at a triple. So there you go. In February, Cuban bought a small amount of Dogecoin, a cryptocurrency that started as a joke, for his 11-year-old son, Jake. Cuban said at the time that the purchase was meant to be fun and educational for his son while also helping Cuban learn more about the space. There are some I buy for fun, some I do for experience because I just want to learn. Crazy. It's like the early days of the internet. There's your quote. The Dallas Mavericks are thinking about turning our tickets into NFTs. Mark, just stop, dude. This is the fintech that Mark Cuban says you should learn about now. This was from March 17th. What's it going to be? NFTs? Artificial intelligence. Okay, so learn about crypto and DeFi. Decentralized finance, or DeFi, refers to a system of applications that aim to recreate traditional financial instruments with cryptocurrency. For example, through DeFi lending, users can loan or borrow cryptocurrency as you could with fiat at a bank and earn interest as a lender. Interest fluctuates. Again, that's what I plan to do. Interest fluctuates depending on demand at the time. Borrowers must provide collateral, crypto assets, as the process is nearly anonymous. Unlike with a traditional bank, borrowers using DeFi apps cannot be held accountable with physical assets if unable to effectively pay back a loan. Three largest DeFi lenders are currently Maker, Compound, and Aave. According to DeFi Pulse, and in total nearly $44 billion is locked. Interested in the use case of borrowing and lending, he told Blockchain and Boost host Adam Levy on March 9th. Let's see. To borrow money, I have to be over-collateralized with my bank. I've got to call somebody. I've got to do a DocuSign or sign something. It's got to get approved at multiple levels. Unless I'm putting it against credit card or it's just writing a check. It's a hassle. But in owning a crypto asset, whether it's Bitcoin or Ethereum, I can do my own banking, and it's very friction-free, very straightforward and fast. That lack of friction is the game changer. Again, removing the middleman. That's what cryptocurrency is about, decentralization, removing the middleman as much as possible. It's still going to be centralized. Bitcoin, I'm sorry, and Ethereum is centralized. You have developers that can change the way they want to do things at any time, whether you like it or not. It is centralized. With DeFi, no FDIC insurance. That is correct. You're risking all of your money. Please do yourself a favor. If you're looking at getting into DeFi or any type of a coin, dig into what's called the white paper, which is the set of instructions for how the coin works, and look for who runs it. And don't just look for pictures. Look for actual video of the people that run the coin and how they talk about their coin and how it's going to do. There's a lot of fake coins out there with fake developers with fake names and fake pictures and deep fake images of people that don't even exist. And so you got to be very, very careful. Let's see here. Crypto isn't hard, but it can be confusing when you are first getting started. You know, this is a guy that you know, you can like him, you can dislike him. I happen to like the guy. I think he's great. Politically, I don't know that I agree with everything, but he is a capitalist. He is about making money. He does do a lot of good, but he's successful. And even someone like Trump is successful. And you may not agree with his politics, or you may not agree with what some of these folks do, but if they're successful, you can learn from them, much like you learn from Warren Buffett. You can learn from Mark Cuban or Trump, or somebody successful that's actually run a business. I do not trust people that have never run a business. Let me say that again. I don't trust people that have never run a business. If they're going to tell me about being successful and teach me about being successful, I want to see somebody that's run a business. Reason why is because every single person I've ever met that's run a business has also had failures, and from those failures can come great success. And so that's what we're looking at. Charlie, good morning. Nice to see you. I hope it's a great day for you as well. I don't know how long. I haven't had this one up for a while, so I'm not sure if you're still here, but there you go. So Mark Cuban is somebody that he's successful. You know, Aave, you know, you can pledge your crypto too and earn interest on it. I need to do that. I think I can do that now, possibly in beta on Coinbase, but I need to set up my node for Ethereum and start staking. What? Oh my God! What? What do you want? What do you want? You want hugs? You have to forgive me. Dog needs attention. Come here. Okay. Sit up. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What? Oh, she wants to look at what's going on? Look at what's going on? Oh my God. Seriously? Okay. I love you. All right. What you doing? What you doing? You a good dog? Are you a good dog? See, of course I'm good. Is that what you wanted? You wanted hugs? What? What? Alright, done. Where's your ball at? Where's your ball? I think she lost her ball. Where is it? Where's your ball? What did you do? Well, you had your bone. Where's your ball going? Where's your ball? Get your ball. Get your ball. All right. Hey, Knight. Good morning. Nice to see you. Charlie, great advice. Still enjoying your stream. Yeah, thanks, Charlie. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pivot my stream a little bit, and I made this decision over the weekend. I did a lot of stuff, and we're still going to be all about stocks and everything else. We're definitely going to be there, but we're going to game change this up a little bit. And just like my name, Crypto Sonar, you know, your market stuff, we're still going to talk about the markets. We're still going to talk about stocks. We're still going to talk about individually, you know, making money, something like ARKs. What did I buy ARKs at? What did I jump in at? Hold on a second. Let me go back and let me see what my cost basis is in ARKs. So in one account, I've got 31,000 in ARKs at 20.51. I bought it at 2051. I'm at 2114. So I'm already up. I'm up 3%. I'm up 3% on that. So that's been pretty good for me. So GameStop, again, they're going to be issuing about 5.6 million shares, which is going to dilute it at the market. $1 billion they're going to issue, so GameStop is going to raise $1 billion. What that Chewy guy Cohen is going to do with that billion, we don't know. But he's definitely shown some success, so that could look pretty good for them as well. AMC is up $1, back up to 1040 now, up over 11%. So you could have swung trade this at the beginning, even bought it at the high at 1013, and you'd be up quite a bit. It put a buy. My system put a buy at 979. Divide into 1039 minus 1 would have been up 5.7% once my system issued a buy on it. But again, it's a lagger, so you might have missed the candle. So you might have got it a little bit higher, 985. Right into 1038. Oops. Well, 9.5%. That's up quite a bit. All right, Palantir. Look at Palantir go up 5% today, up 24. Crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, let's see here. All right, so again, what I want to do is we're going to get into some more cryptocurrency, DeFi. We're going to do some lessons and some videos on that kind of stuff. I don't know if they have a dark mode, so I apologize if this is going to be too bright. But I think they do. I got to find it. I know they have a dark mode. Let me find out where it is. Customize. Here we go. But it's there. Classic. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. That's from Metrics. Oh, here it is, right up here. So if you go to coinmarketcap.com, so coinmarketcap.com, and I've been using this site for years. And when I say years, I literally mean years. And up in the right-hand corner, I had to remember this, but you see it's got a moon up there. Watch this. Boom. There we go. Now, for me, that's easier to read. I don't know if you guys like the white screen better or the dark screen. I like the dark better, just because it's easier on my eyes. I've got lights coming at me from multiple locations here. And so, as a matter of fact, I want to put off a little bit. There we go. I've got a fill light, I've got a backlight behind me, lighting that stuff up. I've got a little light over here in the corner, and then I've got one from the rear 45. Makes my head glow like that. All right, so anyway, coinmarketcap.com. What coinmarketcap.com does is it's a website you can use for cryptocurrencies, and you can build a portfolio, you can build a watch list, you can see what the top cryptocurrencies are. So for example, you can say that right now, Bitcoin is the number one. And Bitcoin's price, $59,448. Its market cap, look at that. $1.1 trillion. $1.1 trillion in market cap for Bitcoin. Incredible. Incredible. Its circulating supply is 18 million. Out of 21 million only. So it's got a maximum supply of 21 million. But again, you can trade. You don't have to buy a full Bitcoin. If you're new to the channel, you don't have to buy a full Bitcoin. You can buy 0.00001. If you want to buy 0.00001 of a Bitcoin times 59,456, you're talking about 59 cents. You can buy a small amount of Bitcoin if you want. The second largest is Ethereum. Now, Ethereum is at 2128, okay? The last 24 hours, this is what it's up. The last 7 days, Bitcoin is up 2%. The last 7 days, Ethereum is up 19.65. Again, my last buy on Bitcoin was at 1588.01. I was looking at the possibility of it going down to 1450 was my last buy before that. And I put another $2,500 into it at 1588. Now that 1588.01 divided into 2128.87 means since that buy, I'm up 25% on that buy. Not bad, right? I've been averaging up. We looked at this last week, and I looked at my account, and pretty much the third week of every month over the last 3 months since January, February, and March, the last three decent money-sized buys that I did on Ethereum have all been in that third week of March. So it tends to, for whatever reason, it tips. It could be options expiration. All of that probably has something to do with it, even on the equity side, as to why that happens. As we're talking about this stuff, I'll just let you guys know the Dow is still up, is up 364, NASDAQ up 181, S&P is up 50. So the market cap is 1.1 trillion on Bitcoin. Ethereum market cap is 245 billion. So what that means is you're talking about something of what they call Bitcoin dominance. And Bitcoin dominance over the market means that of the entire cryptocurrency space, okay, the entire cryptocurrency space, you have Bitcoin has a dominance of 12.3 or 55.8%. So from a market capitalization standpoint, Bitcoin represents 55.8% of the market. Ethereum represents 12.3% of the entire cryptocurrency market. So Bitcoin dominance. What is the market cap comparison between Bitcoin and Ethereum? Well, if you take 245, you can divide that into 1107, and you're at 22%. So if Bitcoin goes up, again, you know, for Bitcoin to double, it's got to hit what? Well, you're almost at 60,000, right? So it's got to hit 120,000, basically, 118.5, somewhere around there. Ethereum only needs to hit 4,000. So what it's done, Ethereum has an unlimited supply. They can keep creating more Ethereum, more Ethereum, more Ethereum. Now what's going to happen in July is there's an EIP out there, because there's something up here called ETH gas, and it's called GUI, okay? 207 GUI. That's the gas fee. The gas fee is like a transaction fee that you pay. An example of that is when I bought $2,500 of Ethereum, I paid a $12 fee to buy that, and that's over on Coinbase. Some of that is gas, some of that is profit. I don't care. Whatever it is, I don't care. I'm up 25%. It doesn't bother me right now. But last week, there was a whale. A whale is someone that basically owns a lot of cryptocurrency that moved $1.8 billion of Ethereum, moved $1.8 billion of Ethereum for a total cost of $43. Crazy. $43. So it's unbelievable. The global crypto market altogether is $1.97 trillion, which has increased 1.61% over the last day. Crazy. So what else is out there? Well, you have Binance Coin, BNB, which is on Binance. And I can't do Binance in my state. They decided to not jump through all the hoops in the state that I live in, which is Washington State. And I used to own BNB, but I can't do business with them because of the state I live in. Yes, I know there's other ways around it, but I'm comfortable where I'm at. It's at 378. I remember when this darn thing was in the 20s. They can't operate, I think, in New York, Washington, and maybe one or two other states that are jerks about it. Tether is a stable coin. It's pegged at $1. Polkadot, DeFi. Cardano, privacy coin. XRP, no comment. Uniswap, Litecoin. Again, you know, the developer of Litecoin got out, sold his stuff a long time ago, and I just don't see a use case for Litecoin. I'm sorry, but I don't. Chainlink, BitTorrent, BTT, Theta, Bitcoin Cash, which is the original chain of Bitcoin before it forked way back when. A lot of people call it Bitcoin trash. Some people call it the real Bitcoin. I disagree. The real Bitcoin's at 59,000. Sorry, but it is. Filecoin, don't know enough about them. Stellar XLM, they got a good use case there. USDC, stablecoin. Tron, Clayton, Wrap, Bitcoin, Dogecoin now number 20. It's been dropping a little bit, unless Elon decides to tweet again. So you can look at all these. You know, Aave's at $407. It's got a 5. You say, well, it's number 26. Number 26 with a $5 billion market capitalization. Monero, another stable coin. Tezos, Neo, Binance USD, okay. Obi, Pancake Swap, Cake, Compound. Here's some of the ones that I find interesting. Maker. You know, Maker already has $2.2 billion market cap, trading at 2308. Which just the ones. Let's see here. Ones that I can trade on Coinbase. Ethereum, Bitcoin, US dollar coin, DAI, XRP, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, EOS, Dash, Orchid, Maker. I can buy Maker. Stellar, Cosmos, Tezos, Ether Classic, OMG Network, Zcash, Chainlink, BAT, Basic Attention Token, Augur, Ox, Algorand, Golem, Decentraland, Loom, Kyber, Compound, Loopring, Uniswap. Man, there's just a ton on here. Where's Uniswap at? Hold on a second. You can deposit those, but you can't buy them. Stable coins, crypto markets. Okay. Sushi Swap, Aave, Uniswap. There's a bunch that I can buy now that are on there. But you know, look at some of this stuff, and what you can do is, let's say, where's the one I just looked at? Maker. I'm going to click on Maker, MKR is its symbol, and let's figure it out and say, okay, so we use cookies. Okay, whatever. I don't care about cookies for them. All right. Look at that. Since December, it's at 506. Now it's up to 2306. Okay, crazy. 2.2 billion dollar market cap. What is Maker? Okay, so here we go. The governance. Okay, looking right here. That's probably. Let me make this a little bigger. Maker is the governance token of the MakerDAO and Maker Protocol, respectively, a decentralized organization and a software platform, both based on the Ethereum blockchain. So again, Maker, $2.2 billion market capitalization, running underneath as a layer of the Ethereum blockchain. Okay, so as Ethereum goes up, or as Maker goes up, my Ethereum will go up. That allows users to issue and manage the DAI stablecoin. Initially conceived in 2015 and fully launched in December 2017, Maker is a project whose task is to operate DAI, a community-managed decentralized cryptocurrency with a stable value soft pegged to the US dollar. Maker tokens act as a kind of voting share for the organization that manages DAI. So it basically manages another stable coin, okay? And it's made by Rune Christensen, an entrepreneur from Zealand, Denmark. The green biochemistry. What makes Maker unique? DAI is one of the most popular stable coins, pegged to the dollar, is the 25th largest cryptocurrency at over 800 million. Maker's unique proposition lies in the fact that it allows its holders to directly participate in the process of governing DAI. Every holder of Maker tokens has a right to vote on a number of changes to the Maker protocol with their voting power. Adding new collateral asset types to the protocol, allowing users to submit new cryptocurrencies to mint more DAI, amend the risk parameters, change the DAI savings rate, choose the oracles, etc. So again, this stuff can be very, 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 very complicated, and there's always risk in that as well. Again, not financial or tax advice. I'm not a licensed financial advisor. This is all for education and entertainment. How is the Maker network secured? Maker is an ERC20 token, meaning that it runs and is secured by the Ethereum blockchain. So because it runs on the Ethereum blockchain, it's secured on there. Ethereum in turn is secured by Ethash proof of work function, which again, in a couple of years is going to move over to proof of stake. Maker token trading is available on such exchanges as Coinbase Pro, Uniswap, OKX, and Binance. So there you go. So that's Maker. Okay. So you can click on these individually. You can say, well, what is what the heck? Thank you. Let's take a look at Polkadot. What the heck is Polkadot? And we'll pull that one up again. The markets are going Brrr, big time. Dow's now up 391. Nasdaq is up 185. S&P is up 54. Okay. Oops, hold on a second. Polkadot is an open-source sharding multi-chain protocol that facilitates the cross-chain transfers of any data or asset types, not just tokens, thereby making a wide range of blockchains interoperable with each other. So it will basically allow other blockchains to talk to each other. This interoperability seeks to establish a fully decentralized and private web, controlled by its users, and simplify the creation of new applications, institutions, and services. There you go. Providing network governance operations, creating parachains, parallel chains by bonding. Who are the founders? Found by Web3 Foundation, a Swiss foundation founded to facilitate a fully functional and user-friendly decentralized web as an open source project. What makes it unique? Well, sharding. You can customize a blockchain. Polkadot currently has an allocation of 1 billion tokens from an initial supply of 10 million in August 2020. Wow. Secured through validators. So again, it runs on its own chain. You can buy it on Binance, Huobi Global, HBTC, OK Exchange, and Binance Korea. So you can't buy that on Coinbase. What's the I want to look at here? Let that catch up. Why is there a delay there? I'm gonna look at one more here. I'm not gonna look up Dogecoin. Aave. All right, Aave is interesting. We talked, Mark Cuban talked about it a little bit. So what do? Aave, again, we talked about it as a lender. It's a finance protocol. So Aave is a decentralized finance protocol that allows people to lend and borrow crypto. Lenders earn interest by depositing digital assets into specifically created liquidity pools, and borrowers can then use their crypto as collateral to take out a flash loan using this liquidity. Aave, which means ghost in Finnish. I think I'd be a little scared when somebody says ghost, right? Aave, which means ghost, was originally known as ETHLend when it launched in 2017, but the rebranding to Aave happened in September 2018. This explains why this token's ticker is so different from its name. So again, it's ticker AAVE. Okay. Which is currently trading at 406.76. Oh, it keeps the price up top. There we go. All right, so
Founders of Aave, Stani Kulikov, at the time he was frustrated at the lack of lending applications on Ethereum, and his project was built before decentralized finance even existed. Serial entrepreneur who went to law school, doesn't say where, and began programming when he was a teenager. He was an early adopter in the blockchain space. Okay. Aave unique. You can borrow and lend in about 20 cryptocurrencies. And they can alternate between the fixed and variable interest rates. Okay. Again, this is another one that's built on Ethereum. So it's secured by Ethereum. Some of the biggest exchanges that list Aave tokens include CoinDCX, Binance, Coinbase, and OKX. You can find out more about how to convert fiat into crypto here. So again, if you go to let's see, Aave, and here we go. You can go over to their website. Open source and non-custodial liquidity protocol for earning interest on deposits and borrowing assets. The protocol. You can go to their GitHub. And now it's just going to list all the other stuff down here. Here's the stakeholders. Ooh, Winklevoss Capital is into it. You know, the Winklevoss twins are stakeholders. And then, you know, you can look at their white paper. You know, this is, if you're looking to invest in a coin, some of your DD should be to look at their white paper. And this was updated, it looks like in December 2020. And this particular one, I don't know how big it is, but you can go in there and you can read exactly what they do and how they do it. So this is your due diligence. The talk is about how the architecture is spread out, how it all works together. There's a nice flow chart you can get into. And you can look at the user versus the ones that are borrowing it, versus the lending pool, versus the tokens. There's some math there. There's some formulas there. So those of you that are deep into math can look at that stuff too. Flash loans, collateral trading, repay with collateral, credit delegation, gas optimization and improvements. Again, gas is like the fees that you pay. How it pays the interest. So the reason this is interesting is this. You know, what does, let's see, how much does Aave pay interest on Ethereum? Let's see here. Aave review, okay. Deposit, variable borrowing about 5.8% on a yearly basis, stable borrowing 7%. So if you just deposit it, you're going to earn 2.89%. Well, it's probably, I mean, I'd be right. I don't like all those pop-ups. Aave lending rates. Here we go. So depending on which cryptocurrency you pledge and go with, you know, the DAI, which is part of the maker, right? 30-day average rate, 11.05%. So you can pledge your token, but again, do you trust them with your crypto? That's a question too. And you realize the interest grows in your wallet. Thai, Norway, whatever that is. Aave Pay allows Europe-based users to pay for everything, to pay for everyday items in fiat currency using your cryptocurrency balance. Talks about the governance. Again, so you're going to take a risk on ones that are going to gain traction. But those are a lot of examples that you can look at and say, okay, what are the protocols? How do I dig into the coin? How do I dig into what they do and what they're all about? CoinMarketCap is a great resource for you to look at that, and it will tell you the ranking by market capitalization. But you can also click on different. You can come up here and you can basically choose, customize how you want stuff to look like. You can filter it for different things and go from there as well. So that's it there. All right, one last check of the heat map, and then we're gonna jump off for a little bit here, in another 5 minutes here. So again, everything green on the board with the exception of energy. Energy is the only thing coming down today. Everything else is up and is up quite a bit. ArcX is up almost 1%. You have AMC is up 11%. GameStop down, now only down 9. So it got down to 164.81 on the news of the $1 billion of new shares being issued. 164.81 divided into 181.80. So they've already bounced about 9.35% off of its low on the day. GameStop has. So that's pretty good for them. Palantir 23.98. Off of its high at 24.45, so it did go up. It did come back down, just a teensy little skosh, little bit, just a small little bit. Rocket up 8 cents. Tesla is up $32.19. Apple's up. AMD is down. Why is AMD down? See, where's the logic here? What did they come out with? Some kind of news hit. Says the CEO's compensation for 2020 was $27 million. So Lisa Su, who's very quiet, made $27 million. That stock would be $100 if she got excited about it, in my opinion. She doesn't have enough excitement as a CEO. She's just all monotone. Fantastic CEO, knows her business. She's been doing amazing things with the company. She just needs to get a little bit more excited about the company. Boeing up 647 now to 259.43. Caterpillar up 215. Ford up 37 cents, 12.54. There you go. Go Ford. Intel up $1.30. Microsoft having another good day. 661. It's up to 248.96. Nvidia down a little bit. So the chip makers. This is delayed 15 minutes. Dollar down. But again, it's down, but it's come back a little bit. The 10 years up to 1.725, up 5 cents, and the 30 years up to 2.388. Still off of its highs of 240, 241. VIX 17.8, up about 0.5, but again, we are definitely stabilizing here into a consolidation phase for the market for Monday, which is actually pretty good after a huge jump. So hopefully you held some stuff over the weekend that gave you some nice gains. Roblox just busted $70 a little while ago, got up to 71.75. That's an interesting pullback. So 70.78 divided into 71.75. Pulled back 1.3%. So it was up 6.5. It was up 6.5%. Now it's up 5% on the day. So still a nice up day. TLT, 20-year Treasury down $1.50. And U.S. Steel up another 3.5%. U.S. oil down $1.28. I still want to buy. I want to buy and get back into U.S. oil, but it just keeps on coming down here. We'll see later on as demand picks up what happens with prices. The problem is, as inflation goes up, that could actually drive oil prices down. So we'll see what happens here as inflation goes up. Oh, what did the PMI come out at? We'll check that here before we go. Should have came out already. PMI final. Let's try that. I'm gonna get a better news service. Here we go. PMI improves to 60.4 in March from 59.8. So 60.4 for March. So 0.2. So 60.2 minus 60.4 minus 1. So 0.03% improvement. So there you go. Getting that from right here. Head over to Seeking. March USI PMI Composite Index final 59.7 versus 58.1 consensus and 59.5 prior. And that came out again about 15 minutes ago. Oh, 9:46 a.m. Eastern. This came out hours ago, sorry. Reflects fastest upturn in private sector business activity since August 2014. Although the expansion in manufacturing sector production eased, service providers registered a market rise in output. Service index 60.4 versus 60.0 consensus, 59.8 prior. So that's up. In the services index, the rate of output growth signaled was fastest since July of 2014. Here's that other story we talked about earlier about Janet Yellen. Let me close some of these other ones here. Close that. Close coin market cap. So Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen is set to make the case for a global minimum corporate tax rate. Part of the Biden strategy to gather support for its $2 trillion infrastructure plan. If the U.S. can convince enough other countries to agree to a minimum corporate tax rate, it will weaken opposition argument that raising the corporate tax rate will incentivize companies to relocate to other countries with lower tax rates. So what the communists are saying, what Yellen is saying, is that they want to take the corporate rate to 28% from 21%, partly undoing Trump's tax reform package that cut it to 21% from 35%. So they don't want to take it back up to 35%, but they want to move it up from 21 to 8 to 28, which would be a 7% hit. Average corporate rate in the G7 is 24%, according to the Tax Foundation. So basically what Yellen, the globalist, said, and that's probably how they came up with their 28% number, is they looked at the average in the G7 and said, well, let's go up a little bit higher and let's show them what good little communists we are. She's set to speak right now, literally right now. Chicago Council on Global Affairs today at 11 a.m. I don't think. Let me see if I can get that. Let's see here. Yellen. And let's see. All right, let me see if I can find it this way. I'm really lagging today. Okay. We'll close all these out.
Country safe and helped our economies flourish. We created global institutions such as the United Nations and financial institutions such as the International Monetary Fund and World Bank to reduce economic conflict and address global poverty. With strong U.S. leadership and working together with our allies, we contained communism and created a dynamic world economy and growing markets for U.S. exports. America's middle class prospered. Millions across the world were lifted out of poverty. But over the years, new problems developed that were not properly addressed. In the push to grow our economies, we neglected our environment. As we embraced new technologies, we didn't do enough to prepare our workers and our education systems for the changes underway. While we embraced trade as an engine for growth, we neglected those who did not benefit. And in the most recent period, when we might have adopted policies at home to face these issues and joined with our allies to address issues abroad, we isolated ourselves and retreated from the international order that we created. Over the last 4 years, we have seen firsthand what happens when America steps back from the global stage. America first must never mean America alone. For in today's world, no country alone can suitably provide a strong and sustainable economy for its people. Over time, a lack of global leadership and engagement makes our institutions and economy vulnerable. To make matters worse, COVID-19 struck. The virus has taken over 550,000 American lives. Our family members, our friends, our neighbors, and millions more around the world. We did not respond sufficiently last year to address the devastating health crisis at home and failed to engage early to address the crisis beyond our borders. And with the health crisis came the economic crisis. We sought to protect those most vulnerable, but millions of workers lost their jobs and all too many small businesses shuttered. Women and people of color bore the brunt of the economic hardship, exacerbating century-long inequalities that plague our society. We can do better. We must do better. The American people elected President Biden and Vice President Harris to tackle these challenges: the pandemic, the economic crisis, a hollowing of the middle class, systemic racism, deepening inequality, and climate change. To not just return us to life as it was before the pandemic, but to build back better, creating a prosperous economy for all. Credibility abroad begins with credibility at home. How can America help lead the world out of the dual crises of pandemic and economic recession if we can't lead ourselves out of it? It's a fair question, and it's why last month President Biden signed the American Rescue Plan into law. The Rescue Plan is easily the largest relief package since the Great Depression. It includes powerful measures: rental assistance, unemployment insurance, direct payments, to help Americans make it to the other side of this crisis. And this package is designed not only to help our economy survive the scars of the pandemic, but to create a foundation for our economy to thrive. The work has already begun. In less than 4 weeks, this administration issued more than 130 million vital relief payments to individuals and families. We provided more than 100 million vaccine shots in just 58 days. But we have more to do. Last week, President Biden outlined a plan to rebuild America, creating a more sustainable and more resilient economy with a 21st century infrastructure. The plan will fix America's crumbling highways and bridges, upgrade ports, airports, and transit systems, build a renewed electric grid, deliver high-speed broadband to all Americans, and invest in basic research and science. It proposes affordable and accessible caretaking options for older Americans and our nation's children, and an education system that trains our workers to thrive in the modern global economy. Beyond our borders, as the pandemic is made clearer than ever before, the global community is in this together. We will fare better if we work together and support each other. The Biden-Harris administration is committed to restoring U.S. leadership in the multilateral system to help make the world economy stronger and advance American interests. The United States needs to have a strong presence in global markets on a level playing field. We will cooperate with willing partners to protect and enforce a rules-based order. Our economic relationship with China, like our broader relationship with China, will be competitive where it should be, collaborative where it can be, and adversarial where it must be. We will defend democracy and the human rights of all people, of women and girls, LGBTQ+ individuals, and people of every race, ethnic background, and religion, to help ensure that those rights are protected at home and abroad. In all our international engagements, President Biden and I will stand up for the American people and American business, as well as these core values that define America. I'd like to spend time today discussing 3 key objectives that guide our economic engagement with the rest of the world, which I believe are necessary to help realize the vision of our nation. The first objective is a stable and growing world economy that benefits the U.S. economy. For the United States to prosper, our neighbors too must prosper. In the modern world, recession, instability, and crime abroad find ways to wash upon our shore. Strong and stable economies abroad make us safer. We will benefit if countries can maintain or create economic, social, and political conditions favorable to an open society. We will benefit if individuals around the world can pursue their aspirations, regardless of conditions of birth, and if women have truly equal rights and opportunity to be included in the economy. We will benefit if people, while retaining cultural differences, share core values of free speech, free exercise of religion, and respect for diversity. Of course, stronger growth abroad also means a stronger economy here at home. As other economies prosper, demand for U.S. exports of goods and services increase, creating jobs.
This is probably the last holiday where a vast majority of Americans will remain
Their growing
unvaccinated.
populations and rising living standards mean a higher consumer base for the United States. In 1990, 40% of U.S. exports went to emerging economies. By 2020, it was 60%. This demand for American products creates U.S. jobs that pay better. Studies have shown that women in particular could earn as much as 20% more in these export-based jobs. At the time of the global financial crisis in 2008, we learned that an interconnected economy brings vulnerabilities. Post-crisis reforms have strengthened global banks and reduced systemic risks, but vulnerabilities, particularly in the non-bank financial sector, remain. So as we pursue a stronger world economy, we must also pay attention to existing financial stability risks and new risks that may arise. To do so, rather than retreat, we must closely coordinate with our partners. We should aim to mitigate risks and promote a sound financial system at home and abroad so that Americans have steady access to the finance needed to build back better, money to start a new business, to buy a home, and to create wealth for themselves and their children. The second objective is to fight poverty and promote a more inclusive global economy that aligns with our values. Unless we act now, the world is susceptible to the emergence of a deepening global divergence between rich and poor countries. This threat, which has never been more pressing, will likely result from divergent capabilities to contain the crisis and bring about economic recovery. Like the United States, rich countries and some large emerging markets have had the means to support their economies while they pursue a health solution. And like the United States, they've gained access to vaccination. Of course, it's too early for advanced economies to declare victory. I'm urging our partners to continue a strong fiscal effort and avoid withdrawing support too early, to promote a strong recovery and help avoid the emergence of global imbalances. Many middle and low-income countries are in a different place, lacking the finance to support their economies and people during COVID-19 and constrained in their wherewithal to obtain vaccines. The result will likely be a deeper and longer-lasting crisis with mounting problems of indebtedness, more entrenched poverty, and growing inequality. Their crises will push as many as 150 million into extreme poverty this year, reversing the trends of the last 2 decades, with women, youth, low-skilled, and informal workers particularly hard hit. Moreover, an additional 120 million people became acutely food insecure in 2020, and that trend could worsen. This would be a profound economic tragedy for those countries, one we should care about, but that's obvious. What's less obvious, but equally true, is that this divergence would also be a problem for America. With few exceptions, stable and prosperous economies tend to be less of a security threat to the United States. And the human crisis of refugees and migrants will only be solved if we have stable and secure growth in the rest of the world. So how do we help the poorest countries get through this crisis? Our first task must clearly be stopping the virus by ensuring that vaccinations, testing, and therapeutics are available as widely as possible. Low-income countries risk falling to the back of the line and may not achieve widespread vaccine coverage until 2023 or 2024 at the current pace. More work and funding are needed to secure vaccine purchases, address manufacturing shortages, and finance and facilitate the domestic rollout in low-income countries. We also need to help lessen the economic pain in low-income countries during
She's talking like she's a Secretary of State.
Recovery period.
All she runs is Treasury.
And use this opportunity, as we're doing in the United States, to facilitate structural transformations to more inclusive and sustainable economies. The IMF and the World Bank have already played an important role on this front, and we're working to strengthen their ability to support the poorest countries. We've created a new multilateral framework to help low-income countries address unsustainable debt burdens. And at the IMF, we're working to issue $650 billion in new special drawing rights, an international reserve asset that will increase buffers for all IMF members and give low-income countries the additional liquidity for greater spending on vaccines and healthcare. Embedded in recovery efforts, we have an interest in helping countries pursue sustainable and inclusive growth and strengthen long-term resilience. Our response will not be successful if we end up just where we were before. A personal objective of mine is to focus our international engagements on fostering full legal rights and greater economic and education opportunities for women and girls, given the clear evidence that this will support inclusive economic growth more broadly. Speaking from my own experience, we need to do better at reducing barriers for women's economic empowerment, even unconscious ones, in nearly every country in the world, including the United States. Finally, there are certain matters where we are in it together, where the challenges are global, and no one country will be successful if it goes at it in isolation. The most evident immediate example is the need to address global health risks. COVID-19 has clearly shown that pandemic responses require global cooperation. We're working with our partners to enhance pandemic preparedness against future shocks. We need to learn lessons from this pandemic to be better prepared to stop future contagious diseases before they become full-scale pandemics. Another global challenge we face is how to adapt to technological change, which has brought significant benefits but contributed to greater inequality. Digitalization is the latest technological advance that provides an opportunity to raise productivity and increase connectivity, both at home and globally. Even just a year ago, I never thought that I would be regularly joining meetings with colleagues in London, Delhi, Sydney, and everywhere in between from the comfort of my office and Treasury. But the digital divide has also exacerbated inequality, and digitalization has raised concerns about privacy, illicit activity, and threats of surveillance and cybersecurity attacks from our adversaries. I will be working domestically and closely with our allies to promote innovation in digital finance in the interest of cheap, instantaneous, and reliable commercial and financial transactions, but also to ensure that we modernize our legal and regulatory frameworks to take account of the risks and threats inherent in the use of these new technologies. Another consequence of an interconnected world has been a 30-year race to the bottom on corporate tax rates.
Here we go.
Competitiveness is about more than how U.S. headquartered companies fare against other companies in global merger and acquisition bids. It's about making sure that governments have stable tax systems that raise sufficient revenue to invest in essential public goods and respond to crises, and that all citizens fairly share the burden of financing government. President Biden's proposals announced last week call for bold domestic action, including to raise the U.S. minimum tax rate, and renewed international engagement, recognizing that it's important to work with other countries to end the pressures of tax competition and corporate tax base erosion. We're working with G20 nations to agree to a global minimum corporate tax rate that can stop the race to the bottom. Together, we can use a global minimum tax to make sure the global economy thrives based on a more level playing field in the taxation of multinational corporations, and spurs innovation, growth, and prosperity. Let me end by discussing the biggest long-term threat the world faces: climate change. After sitting on the sidelines for 4 years, the United States is committed to doing its part. We have a narrow moment to pursue action at home and abroad to avoid the most catastrophic impacts of that crisis and to seize the opportunity that tackling climate change presents. President Biden has released a plan to combat climate change, including through rejoining the Paris Agreement, investing in sustainable infrastructure, and creating new green jobs. He's committed to release an ambitious strategy this year to outline U.S. domestic greenhouse gas targets that are consistent with our work internationally. Domestic action must go hand in hand with U.S. international leadership aimed at significantly enhancing global action. To this end, Treasury is working closely with our international partners and international organizations to implement ambitious emissions reduction measures, protect critical ecosystems, build resilience against the impacts of climate change, and promote the flow of capital toward climate-aligned investments and away from carbon-intensive investments. We're also working to ensure that climate risk is integrated into the financial system so that financial institutions, regulators, and investors can make informed decisions. I'm pleased that Treasury is co-chairing a newly launched G20 Sustainable Finance Working Group, where finance ministries and central banks will work together to identify mechanisms for promoting green investments and accelerating transition to a net zero economy. As I prepare to meet with my colleagues from around the world this week at the IMF and World Bank spring meetings, I find myself thinking back to the policymakers who gathered in Bretton Woods a year before I was born to define our post-war order. Though it was a different time, I empathize with the enormous weight they faced. The pressure to come together after a global catastrophe in building an enduring and interconnected system aimed at promoting peace and prosperity throughout the world. Our current juncture is no less significant. What we do in the coming months and years will have profound impacts on the trajectory of our country and on the global economic order. Of course, there are key differences from the post-war era. Maybe most noticeably, I will be joined later this week by other female finance ministers, central bank governors, and heads of international financial institutions. Not enough, but a start, as well as diverse representatives from all corners of the globe. In our interconnected and digital world, and considering the pandemic, I will be logging onto a computer to join these meetings, not trekking to a mountain resort in New Hampshire. Yet the most important difference today is a fundamental recognition that our policies at home and abroad must be designed to be inclusive, tackle inequality, and respect our environment. In this context, I will use the spring meetings this week to advance discussions on climate change, press our partners to do their part to support a strong global economic recovery, strengthen tools to improve vaccine access and financing for the world's poorest economies, and increase the focus on inequality, including for vulnerable populations and women and girls. I'm honored to serve the American people once again, to listen to the underrepresented, to be bold in action, and to cooperate with our global partners to solve the challenges we face together in building the next century of prosperity. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Yellen, for that really insightful speech and a
Questions?
reminder of how what is happening around the world affects and impacts us here at home, as well as how, as we move forward together with our partners, we need to find a world that is more inclusive as well as more sustainable. I really appreciate your comments. We would now like to turn to some of the members of the council, and the first person joining us is Dory McWhirter. She is a member of our board and the CEO of the YWCA Metropolitan Chicago. Dory?
Thank you, Ivo, and thank you, Secretary Yellen. It is an honor to have you here with us today. I want to also thank you for acknowledging the importance of gender equality for economic prosperity. And I know you know that many studies, including the IMF and the World Bank, reference achieving gender parity and how it can add trillions of dollars to the global economy. But how do we actually get countries to prioritize gender parity as part of their economic recovery agendas and not just see them as women's issues?
Well, I think there's a wide range of steps that we need to take to promote gender equality in our own economy. One of the increased involvement of women in the labor force has, as you indicated, really promoted advances overall for the United States and certainly served to raise family income. But female labor force participation has leveled off at a rate that's lower than we see in many advanced economies. And in looking for the reasons, it looks as though our failure to provide affordable childcare and paid leave is important. And so as we think about our own policies in the United States moving forward, I would say that it makes sense to focus on enhancing benefits in those areas, particularly to promote a more inclusive environment for women to participate in the labor market. And the IMF and World Bank have prioritized similar kinds of steps around the world, improving legal rights and equality for women in many countries where they're hindered by legal barriers and social barriers to participate, and also supporting them, their participation through greater education for women and other programs.
Thank you, Secretary Yellen. Our next question comes from Alex Liu, who is a young professional at the Chicago Council on Global Affairs. Alex?
Thanks, Ivo. And Secretary Yellen, thank you for taking the time to speak with us this morning. As you mentioned earlier, the pandemic has had a significant impact on students as well as younger people in the workforce. From your perspective, I guess, do you have any advice or suggestions for us to become, not only thrive in the global digital economy, but also become more fluent in global issues?
Well, I think it's very important for young people to study about the global economy and the ways in which.
We're back to silliness now. Okay, so let's take a look at one last thing here before we go. Bitcoin 59,150 now, and Ethereum is now knocking on the door of possibly hitting new highs again, up to 2116. Oh, get it back over here. Super nice day for them. All right, that's going to do it for now. We will be back in about 3 hours at 11:30 Pacific, 2:30 Eastern time. And thanks for joining us this morning. I hope you got something good out of the stream. If you're over on YouTube, hit a like button, make a comment over there if you can. If you're over on Twitch, hit the subscribe button. And if you're on Facebook, hit the like button. And thanks for tuning in. We'll be back in 3 hours with another more market commentary. Until then, have yourself a fantastic day. And we'll talk to you in about 3 hours. Thanks all. See you soon.